Welcome to the FitJitz Podcast.
This is Nick MoghaddamNick, owner of Carlson Gracie Anaheim, my professor at my school. Thanks, Nick, for joining me today.
How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Long time no see. I miss you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah? How's everything going over there?
Steady, man. It's been a very busy year.
Yeah. What sort of growth have you guys seen since obviously COVID probably took a lot out of the school? Has it been picking up pretty regularly after that?
Took a lot out in the beginning. I was adhering to the regulations from like March 2020 to about June when they let us reopen. I kept the school closed.
Right.
So the school took a nice dive.
Yeah.
All our kids, our adults kind of kept the program going though. At least they kept their membership, so we were able to at least pay some of the bills.
Survive.
But starting in June, they let us reopen for like 2 weeks, and then they had another surge.
Mm-hmm.
And then they asked everybody to shut down again, and that's when I decided. I said, okay, listen, I'm either gonna have to shut down my business and listen to the government, or just run it and say screw you.
I'm going to change this to get. Oh wait, not that. I'll cut this part. Sorry. I'm not going to change the screen at this point.
Yeah, so they were going to take away my livelihood, and there was like, I was about to lose my business in June, by August. Wasn't paying my rent because obviously we didn't have any students. Had to work something out with the landlord. I had to pay all that money back. It was a lot of money. It was like $16,000, $20,000 or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
But starting in September 2020, we had just this huge surge. Huge. I took out a little loan, and I said we're either going to make it or break it with this money for marketing and advertisement, and we made it.
That's awesome.
We quadrupled the members from September to March.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, especially considering last year, basically Jiu Jitsu, especially in the state of California, became illegal, right? Like, I mean, that's your livelihood. Like you said, that's your school. That's the business that you built. And they just said, you can't do that you were labeled non-essential, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's funny, like during all this, pretty much so many cops signed up at the gym, like a lot. They said that their rules of engagement changed. They can't choke people anymore. So they some new tools, and it kind of became a cop gym now.
That's how many cops do you think you have
10.
Signed up right now? 10?
10.
Wow. Hopefully we can get those numbers up as it continues to grow.
Yeah, but we have the morning classes are all mostly cops.
Yeah. What are those, 9 a.m.s?
9 a.m.s, yeah, every day.
Awesome.
Except Friday.
Right. All right. Well, hey, I kind of want to get into like some of the questions that I had for you, Nick. I'll make this as flow as best as possibly I can. I know that me and you, the reason I wanted to talk to you first off is, like I said, when I first walked in the gym and we started talking about our backgrounds, we were so similar from what we came from with our athletic backgrounds. And I thought that was, from the college football aspect. Tell me a little bit about where you came from, how you grew up, what you did, and how you got into jiu-jitsu.
I went to Newport. I grew up in Newport Beach. I went to Newport Harbor High School. We were CIF champions when I went there. My junior year, I was a starting D tackle at the end, and we won CIF. Went back to the final senior year, and had a great high school run.
Yeah.
And then
from there, where'd you go?
Then after that, 1 year off, and then two years at Orange Coast College, where we were average. And we didn't even practice, barely. And no conditioning, everything you have to do on your own.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then I went.
Was that typical for junior college at that time?
I don't know what the other junior colleges were doing. I mean, I think they were working harder than us.
Yeah, because, you guys have that beautiful sports center there. Now it's like this huge, it's they're talking about making it into a 4-year school.
Nice. Oh yeah.
So I know it's changed a lot, probably.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. The one thing that coach there, he made us all practice with the track team. So we all had our numbers up for the combine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And did that help you think, get recruited to where you ended up at East Carolina?
129%. Because at Orange Coast College, we were average, and we had some good guys, and like we had to share all this playing time. You know what I mean? So like, out of a 10-game season, I think I only had 2 games where I had significant playing time and good film to give to the recruiters.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, so what was your record those first 2 years at Orange Coast?
6-4 both years. But
that's not too bad. I mean, I've been on some 3-7 teams that were pretty bad.
Yeah, but college football here in Southern California is no joke, man.
No.
College football is tough.
I mean, I played at Santa Ana, so I know I played against Orange Coast. That's why it was so surprising to me when you said, you know, hey, we weren't very good, because the years I played Orange Coast, you guys had a crazy team. There's recruits from all over the country that would come. You know, I think half the team at Orange Coast was Hawaiian or Polynesian, so they were all coming from all over the world.
They were, because one of the wide receiver coaches, Coach Tagaloa, was from the 49ers, and he recruited Samoans and Polynesians.
I've told you, I know I'm very good friends with this family, so I know the Tagaloas very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very cool people, very good people. But so, okay, as you transition, you play a couple years at East Carolina, and that, you know, how'd that go?
Same thing. We were like, they were going through coaching changes when I got there, so it was once again 2 average years. I was pretty pissed. Like, I have a champion mindset. I was pissed when we were losing games. I was like, it was not cool.
Yeah, I bet. What was your record there? You played with Chris Johnson, didn't you?
Yeah, I played with Chris Johnson. I think we were like 6-5 both years.
Okay. So same sort of idea, that middle of the road average, not going to get you anywhere sort of thing.
Yeah, it was funny though. I went to Orange Coast College. We were the Pirates, you know. Then I went to East Carolina. We were the Pirates.
There's a theme going on here.
Yeah.
Is your favorite team the Pittsburgh Pirates? I'm trying to think of other Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Steelers. Any other Steelers? Oh, okay.
I did like the Buccaneers back in the day, but when they had like Warren Sapp, Mike Allstott.
Those were the heydays, like the early. That was like when I played football freshman year, I had the big neck roll. I was number 40. I wanted to be Mike Allstott. I was that guy. I have good pictures of me like with the old school, like, I don't even know what they call them, like cow collars, I guess you call them. Yeah, not even the cowboy collar, but like the actual like foam around the top of my shoulder pads. Like, I thought that was so cool. And then looking back, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I looked like an idiot. But it was fun while it lasted. So as you transition out of that from football, had you already been doing some martial arts? Did you do martial arts as a kid, or?
Well, I tried Jiu Jitsu a few times in high school. I just didn't like all the drilling and warming up when I was young. I didn't have the patience. I would wait for the sparring in the end at one of the local schools, so I never really stuck with it. When I was at East Carolina, I'd be in the locker room almost every other day. We would always watch The Ultimate Fighter, and it was the first season.
Oh, okay.
And it was nuts. And like, I remember being at East Carolina, I'm like, I could do that easily.
Really? So that's what you thought, that was your first like sort of introduction? I mean, you'd probably seen MMA before, or was that your first introduction?
I wasn't interested in MMA at all. But that was like my first like thought in my head where like, hey, I know I could beat these guys. I'm like 6'3", 260. I'm fast. I know how to fight. I know how to throw hands. Well, I thought I knew how to fight. That's where the story changes.
So you leave East Carolina. Do you stay there, or you leave the school, the university? I
left East Carolina. I already had known that there was a LA boxing gym like by my house that I grew up in.
That's still there today.
That's still there. No, it's gone now.
It's on. I was thinking the one on Superior.
No, that's the second one. The first one was on Boulevard, and it was. So I came home and I was like 285 pounds. First thing, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to like get back to like 230, 240. I met one of the jiu-jitsu instructors just eating lunch one day, and he invited me to come to a class. So I remember my first class was jiu-jitsu. And 280 pounds, 6'3", can win any street fight, right? And I'm getting tapped out by this purple belt. First of all, who lets people spar their first day? This purple belt is just wrenching my arm, putting me in umabatas, kimuras, like all this crap. And I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those 20% of people that says, screw that. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to learn this and whip your ass and everybody's ass here.
Mm-hmm.
I was challenging because I was like, wow, I can't believe how hard I got my ass kicked my first day of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had no cardio for that. I wasn't fit for that.
We have a, I think there's a lot of people that have that first day story. I've certainly had that first day story I've told you about where it might not have been a first day, but it was definitely a first month story where me and my buddy were just starting and we were just beating the shit out of each other, just beating each other up. And then 155-pound white belt, he's like 3-stripe white belt, kind of gangly. He's maybe 5'8". You know, I'm seeing him outside. I'm like, oh, new guy in the class, you know, blah, blah, blah. Thinking, oh, cool. Like, I'll be gentle on this dude.
Yeah.
You know, when he comes in. And he made the 5-minute round that I had with him, the worst 5 minutes, I think, of my life. I think I tapped 6 or 7 times. And that's when the same thing, we had that same mentality of, that's when I learned I had to learn this. Like, I am in so much danger that I have to know this.
I felt worthless after. I'm like,
absolutely
6'3", 280, and this little purple belt that's 5'5", 150 is tapping me out.
Right.
What the heck?
Yeah. And you have that long drive home. How if it could be 2 minutes away, home could be 2 minutes away, but it's the longest.
Music off on the right freeway, or thinking about your life.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Funny, 80% of people that when they start jiu-jitsu and that happens to them or within their first few months, they quit.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
80% of people quit jiu-jitsu. 20% say, screw this, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to learn this and get good at it or try to get decent at it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is that still typical today or is that more old school?
Oh, yeah. 80% of people drop out.
Wow.
Out of school across America. 20% stay past blue belts.
So you get the shit kicked out of you the first day like most people do. You come back and you say, it was the goal always to get into MMA, or was it just to get good at jiu-jitsu?
No, not at all. That particular gym I was at, they had smoker fights. So within my first 90 days there, I'm still learning jiu-jitsu. By 3 months, I'm kind of getting better by that time because I'm athletic. I picked it up. What big guy is not good at kimuraing people? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you can bench press 315 6 or 7 times, you can rip an arm out of a socket pretty easily. The first 3 months, they had a smoker fight. I had zero experience kickboxing. I had never even hit a pad. I've done some bag work, but never even hit a pad. They had a smoker fight, and
so explain to people what a smoker fight is.
Legal, unsanctioned fight. Gyms make money off of. They're totally illegal. Unsanctioned boxing. So I'm a heavyweight too. So I signed up for it, thinking I'm just going to brawl this guy and drop him in the first round. So I'm fighting in a heavyweight kickboxing smoker fight.
No, it's not MMA. It's kickboxing.
It's kickboxing. The guy I'm fighting is an experienced heavyweight kickboxer. He has fights. Okay. So
I'm seeing where this is going.
Yeah, and the first round I dropped the guy a few times, like twice. Just came in brawling with him.
Wow.
And then I was a little tired, and the guy kept chopping at my legs. So by the third round, I am done because this guy keeps kicking me in the same spot in the leg.
How many rounds are there?
There was 3 rounds in the fight.
Okay.
I ended up losing a decision. And then kind of like the same story with jiu-jitsu, I'm like, hey, I want to learn this now too. Like, this was embarrassing. So I challenged myself to get better at kickboxing and Muay Thai and striking as well. At the same time, I was learning jiu-jitsu because they were both in the gym. Yeah.
How would you describe your fighting style? Were you more of a stand-up guy, or did you
in the beginning
prefer to take the fight to the ground? Or
In the beginning, I just had heavy hands, so if the fight was short, I would rely on just knocking somebody out real quick, like in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had the big guy power.
Yes, I did.
And I thought you fought. Did you fight at heavyweight or did you fight at 205?
So after that, I got in shape. I took 2 pro fights. I lost, and then I took a year and a half off, and I got in some serious shape, and I went on a 4-fight winning streak, and then got into Bellator.
Wow. And then you got into Bellator, and then I mean, as your fight career progressed, you got into Bellator, and then that ran its route and came to an end. You trained under Alan Goes, though. Was he your coach for MMA, or was he just your coach for jiu-jitsu? Tell me about how you ran into him.
He was my coach my first few years of jiu-jitsu. Him and the owner of LA Boxing, Sean McCauley, which he was the owner. Like, he started all the LA. He was more of the MMA coach. The striking. Alon was more jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, for people that don't know, is it Alon? I always said Alan Goes. Alon.
Carlson.
Carlson Gracie. He gave you your black belt, correct?
I got my first degree black belt from him. My original black belt was from one of his black belts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, he fought people like Sakuraba. Who else? Ken Shamrock. Like, some crazy names under his belt. So I mean, that must have been really cool to kind of learn to have him in your corner.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Very
cool. Of course, someone's like doing yard work in my backyard or something like that. So sorry for the noise. Post-fighting career, you get done, right? And it's over. And how quickly did you know you wanted to be a coach? Was there like an aha moment after that? Like, I should just get into coaching, or had you always known?
I already had been coaching way before my career was over. Like, I've been coaching the whole entire time, actually. That's how I made my money.
And so you decided were you going to open a gym, or were you?
I already had a gym. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I did.
So were you fighting out of that
gym though? Not so much jiu-jitsu.
Very cool. And so you said, hey, this is going to be my career. This is going to be, I'm going to be a jiu-jitsu MMA coach.
Well, yeah, and just where I was at was pretty saturated too. I was in like Irvine, Lake Forest, especially close to my coach. I wanted to get away from him and start my own business in another town, not step on people's toes.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Newport Beach was very saturated, I thought. Costa Mesa with schools.
There's a ton. There's so much down there.
South County was too at the time. And Anaheim Hills was just a good location. I thought that wasn't so saturated at the time. Now it's pretty saturated, but at the time it wasn't.
But I think that's just kind of the trend with jiu-jitsu as it's picking up with people, as it's gaining popularity. As MMA is gaining popularity, jiu-jitsu is gaining popularity. There's just more and more gyms popping up here and there. But I feel like a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, there's a lot of very well-established jiu-jitsu gyms down in like South County in Newport, like Art of Jiu-Jitsu with the Mendez brothers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gyms like the Ruka gym that I know a lot of fighters fight out of. So there's definitely like, there's less of that up in like Yorba Linda, Anaheim. There's still a couple. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, there was only like Eric Paulson's back in the day in Tinguia. That was it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. For someone like us, like if you have a recommendation for like someone that's wanting to get into jiu-jitsu, maybe at a high level, like, hey, I'm new, I have an athletic background, I'm a former football player or whatever, I'm a wrestler. What sort of advice would you give them? To start off, like obviously go in and start training, but
so you're talking like somebody that comes in that has the mindset that I'm joining jiu-jitsu because I want to be a competitor or a world champion.
Yes.
Not a person that says they walk into the door and they're like, I saw Royce Gracie do jiu-jitsu on TV and I want to learn that.
Right.
99.9% do, because only 0.1% of the people walk in to the door and they say, I want to be a world champion.
Are they all smoking a cigarette like that?
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever had someone that walked in and told you that? I mean, you have a kind of a world champion that's training with you right now in Molinaro.
Yeah. No, it's people want to come in and get in shape and learn self-defense. People aren't trying to come in the first day and say, "Hey, I want to be a world champion in jiu-jitsu."
Yeah.
Yeah, people, that's the wrong idea. I think people, but like you said, maybe there's some people that were athletes that were high school wrestlers that already know about it, that want to come in and establish themselves in the sport.
Yeah, I think the sport's becoming big enough that there's maybe going to be more of that coming in. I mean, I was just watching the Nicky Rod Black Belt Slayer movie, and he kind of had that sort of route. I mean, there's not too many Nicky Rods out in the world, but definitely I think as it gains popularity, people are going to be making that choice like early on. Like,
yeah.
As like kids, they're going to want to go into that MMA, that jiu-jitsu route. Probably more MMA, I would guess, but
well, everybody has aspirations of going to MMA. Then they figure out they got to start jiu-jitsu to get good at MMA. Then once they get good at jiu-jitsu, they're like, I don't want to get hit in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they just stay with you.
I get that.
Yeah,
I totally get that. What's next for you? I think we'll start wrapping it up. What motivates you? I mean, obviously you have your gym. It sounds like from our conversations that you're thinking about competing. What sort of training are you doing leading up to stuff like that?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Like if there's a tournament December 8th, the North American Masters. It's a pretty big 4-star event. It's going to be in Anaheim. For me, I have this character at the gym named Polar Bear.
Yes. Love Polar
He's
Bear.
6'6", 340 pounds, and he has a wrestling background. And like clinching with him, you're not going to get anybody stronger to play judo with.
Right.
So if you can around 340 pounds, sorry, I lost you for a second. That's there. Okay. So if you can move around 340 pounds, you're going to do well in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been rolling with him quite a bit. Are you just doing from start? Are you starting from stand up with him, or is it?
Yeah, I always start from stand up with him at least once a week now. We go pretty hard.
And now I saw
a lot of judo.
Absolutely trying to move him. Are you? Is that absolute division that you're going after? Is that the weight class you're in now, or?
Master 2, which is the age division of 35 to 40.
Uh-huh.
Ultra heavy.
Ultra heavy.
Yeah. I weigh about 255 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable weight for you? Are you up or down from there?
I would like to be 240, but who doesn't want to be 15 pounds lighter?
Right, exactly. Everyone has aspirations.
Yeah. That's just a regular weight for me these days, 255.
Okay. Very cool. Well, I'll end it there, Nick. I really, really appreciate your time. Well, actually, one last question before you go. Who you got this weekend? UFC 266. We got Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler. Any predictions in the fights?
I like Volkanovski for the first.
You like Volkanovski?
Yeah. Who's the second fight?
There is Valentina Shevchenko over with Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy. God bless her.
God bless her. Yeah.
God bless her is all I gotta say.
Win that. Diaz, of course. I like Diaz. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna do that well. I think the fight's gonna go to a decision. Two old guys throwing down.
Yeah, and Robbie
seems like Diaz is there to get a payday. To be honest.
Yeah. I've been trying to read him this fight week, and it's been very odd. I think a lot of people are trying to figure him out because of his demeanor.
I've been out of the sport for 6 years. Diaz has been out of the sport for 6 years as well. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're just going to come back at the highest level and do great.
Right.
It's almost like the UFC is making a master's division for fighting. Like, hey, this guy's 40, this guy's 40. Let's fight you guys.
But they've been doing that for a while. They did that with Royce Gracie. They brought Royce Gracie back. I don't know how long he had been out of the game to fight Matt Hughes, but that was back in the day where there wasn't a lot of fighters at that high level. Nowadays, they have 700 guys on the roster. So
700 lunatics,
as Dana White says.
Yes.
So you have, if it came down to it, money on Robbie or money on Diaz?
Diaz decision.
Diaz decision.
Boring fight. Two guys striking the whole fight. There's going to be no ground. It's going to be all standing.
Very cool. Well, hey, Nick, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. Everyone check out, if you're in the North Orange County area, check out Nick's gym, Carlson Gracie, Anaheim. It's awesome. It's where I train. It's one of the best. So thanks so much, Nick. Absolutely.
Shout out to Master Carlson Gracie Jr.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nick. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bye.